Hello, and welcome back to Harlan is in Danger, and this is going to be our next Mythos Packized episode, and today I'm joined as always with my good friend and co-host, Tom.
Hi, I'm also here.
I was trying to give you a break, and then I realized I was just cutting you off. So
No, you're good. I was like, I'm just going to wait until you introduce me. It's fine. Hello, everyone. Yeah, we're doing our second Mythos Packizing of Scarlet Keys, which is on the calendar. It's day 7, and it's status report alpha. If you don't know what the Mythos Packizing is, we explained it a little better in the last video, but basically we're breaking up the cards from the Investigator expansions so they fit the old model of Arkham Horror the card game, which was a deluxe box and a bunch of Mythos packs.
Yeah.
So we can play a little better in Progression Challenge. I don't think I'm going to explain it more than that. If you got questions, I'll probably be in the comments and you can ask me there.
Yeah, I was just going to say one other thing too is we don't talk quite as much about like our justifications for why things were ordered in the pack the way that it was. I think that should just kind of be referred. But we did our best to try to make the cards seem like it was what the designers might have done with their organizational structure, for better or worse. So we did our best to try to emulate that in some capacity. So like for the customizable cards, we separated those because it felt like, well, this one has a lot of like level 0 cards, so we needed those up front, and then like the customizable could be level 0, or you could buy it as XP. So we thought, okay, that gets separated. So sometimes there's weird things like that. I don't know. Yeah, all that to say, we did our best. It's the organization, but we're mostly here just talking about the cards and giving a little take.
Yeah.
And it also gives you a sense for like what's available in our card pool to actually use.
Yep. All right. Yeah, let's just get right into it because you're right. We are just going to be talking about level 0 cards and customizable today. So there's a lot of level 0 cards in Scarlet Keys. All right, so let's start off with the Guardian cards. Thank you for letting me know, Google. We have Hunter's Armor, Grievous Wound, and Helping Hand. So just like last time, we're just going to start with naming them, and then we'll go through one by one. So Hunter's Armor is a 4-cost customizable body slot item armor blah thing that you can customize to be better in a myriad of ways. I don't know that I've played this card, actually.
I've not played it either. I don't think it's bad. I think it's bad at level 0 because you have 4 cost for 2/2. I mean, I guess that's not... I mean, it's expensive. It's very expensive for what it's giving you. You could spend an extra action and 0 resources and just play, a cherished keepsake and a leather coat and survivor and get the same equivalent.
Those aren't blue.
Those aren't blue. So blue has to pay through the nose, and I can't stand that. Like, you need to pay for a gun or a weapon of some kind. You don't have the money for this. So I think it's massively overcosted, but that's fine because customizable gets better over time.
Yeah.
I think you can actually reduce the cost, can't you, as well?
Yeah. I think it doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity. You can make it lightweight.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that would be a good upgrade to take. You can also expand the health and sanity if it's 4/4 for 4 resources. That's much better.
Yeah.
And then you can do like reactionary effects, like you ping them back, like guard dog stuff. So
yeah.
I
think this one has
it's pretty good.
It has a good glow up, right? Like it starts off kind of crappy, and then it actually really turns into something that's very cool and can be like a centerpiece of your engine throughout the campaign. But yeah. This is all theoretical. I've not played with it, I think.
Same.
Yeah. I have played with Grievous Wound.
Is it good?
It commits for 2 fist icons, which is usually actually kind of helpful. So this is, and like, I know that you don't like this style of play that I have of looking at the icons and being like, sometimes this is just an overpower and that's enough versatility for me. But yeah, it's okay. Like if you hit a big boss monster with an axe or something, or a machete, or whatever, a baseball bat, because you're playing a survivor fighter. Then you attach Grievous Wound to him. It's kind of cool. Yeah. If sometimes you need the stat boost because you're playing a survivor fighter, it's kind of cool.
So are you saying that this is just for like a boss kill kind of thing?
I've used it for just doing the...
No, you can't use elites.
No, it's not... Yeah, I've not used it for elites. I've used it for like doing the 3rd damage to a 3 or 4 health enemy that I evade. It's weirdly not. I don't think it's as good in Guardian because it's not super consistent, and you usually don't need the fist boost. But I played it in a not Silas, Yorick deck, where I was just hitting things with a shovel, and it was like it's kind of a vicious
Makes
blow.
sense.
If I need it to be,
I guess what I don't understand about the whole equation is after you hit them with the shovel and you play this, now you have to get them off of you. So do you just take another action to evade and hope for the best?
I mean, yeah. Or you do something else, I don't know, and tank it a little bit, and then it's fine. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's really.
What about just good?
It's really just not. It's not like the most efficient card, but like it commits for 2 relevant icons for what you're doing. So sometimes it can just be that, and sometimes it can be very helpful, and that's I think like I don't know. That's kind of my ethos with these cards. Is like, you know what? That actually is sometimes just getting +2 on a fight test is sometimes going to be enough.
What if you just played an offhanded weapon, like a knife?
I thought you didn't like offhand weapons.
I don't, but you do.
I mean, sometimes.
So I'm asking the expert on offhanded weapons: is this or an offhanded weapon? Which is better? What would you take?
I don't know. Depends.
Okay.
I think this is slightly better than knife.
I feel like, see, my stance is that knife is better because I could have that down, same resource cost, and then I could knife them. I have to spend an extra action anyways. It's just not to evade; it would be to fight a second time. I would get +1, or I could throw the knife and get +2 and an extra damage if I was really hurting for that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, yeah, it took me an action to play the knife, which this didn't. It was fast, but also the knife in the long run. I don't know. Like, this deck is very odd because you're supposed to bolus and then grievous wound and then leave and let the grievous wound kill them. But I already hit them with the bolus, so I don't really need them to die. So I don't know. I can't use it on bosses who have massive health pools.
I gotta pause. I gotta pause real quick. Sorry, my partner just came home. Right. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. She says hi.
I say hello back.
I'll let her know after we're done recording.
That's good.
Yeah, Grievous Wound's weird. I've played with it a couple times. I kind of like it. I don't know. It's kind of like a deconstructed knife almost because it can either give you the +2 or the extra damage. So that is a weird, interesting comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want the Grievous Wound to just not suck so much. That's my issue with it.
Have you played with it?
No, I can't conceive of a situation in which I would ever use this.
Here's what I'll say. It performs better than it looks. Not much better, but it does perform better than it looks.
Okay. Yeah, because, like, here's the thing. I can't even use it on elites. If I could at least use it on elites, I think I would take it and I would try it, and I'd feel no guilt about throwing it in the deck because I'm going to get a big enemy. He's going to have a lot of health. It's going to take a while. Even just paying 1 to get 1 extra damage at the end of the round. I mean, what if he has 5 health? That's good. I mean, if he's got 7 or 8, like, I'm going to have to, like, evading is now in the equation. It's something that has to happen. So I'm much more comfortable with the fact that this is just doing a little bit of damage over time. Mm-hmm. Even if it's only like 1 or 2, that would be enough for me from the card. But the thing is like, I can't use it on elites. So it's like, what am I going to do? Play this on some rats?
Mm-hmm. No, don't do that. Rats will
I can't do it on Conglomeration of Spears because they'll eat my melee weapon.
Unless you use a knife and discard it anyway.
Unless I use a knife. So the deck is knife and Grievous Wound.
This is what I did in Will Yorick, yes. It also had baseball bats, which also discard.
Okay, I can kind of see where this deck is going. All right, I'd be open to trying another knife Yorick deck with Grievous Wound with bats.
It was an interesting. I guess I should have started with what the deck was that I played it in. My partner also played it in
because it makes a lot more sense with that. Yeah.
My partner also played it in Daniela, and we were going through Edge of the Earth, and I think she had a harder time getting it to work there. But there are some big beefy enemies in there, and like sometimes she just hit them with a wrench, and then they die in the enemy phase, or after the not in the enemy phase after. And she had stunning blows and stuff too, so she could like evade them and attach it to him and
Yeah.
not have to worry about it.
I
So.
could kind of see that. Yeah. Yeah, there's something there.
Yep. I don't know if I can defend Helping Hand nearly as well as I just defended Grievous Wound, though.
It just doubles the icons of the other cards that are pitched to the, or one other card pitched to the test, right?
Yeah. I think, like, this is just a Carson card. And really just for his weakness. Like, because
I mean,
I don't know. I think, like, if Double or Nothing still existed, maybe. Like,
it does.
well, it does. I don't play with. I'm a taboo boy. I guess if I played a Double or Nothing deck, I'd be like interested in doing a Helping Hand. I guess
yeah,
if I'm
'cause you need
playing
to spike
alongside like a
icons.
rogue, maybe that actually is more interesting to just try and get those spikes up.
Yeah, so I think the problem with Helping Hand is that generally speaking, when you're going into a test, you want to commit the fewest number of cards as possible. The only time you're doing more is if it's only giving you one icon and it's not enough, or like you really want a certain effect to trigger, like maybe you want a Nimble to proc, and then you're also like concerned you won't have enough, you won't succeed by enough to get the effect that you want, so you throw in another card. Those are the only instances I can think of in which, like, yeah, you want like an extra card thrown in. For the most part, you're trying to conserve and just what can I get away with not committing, so I can use it on a future test that I really need to pass. I mean, at base value, if you have an Unexpected Courage in your hand, then now you have two because you could commit them both in it, and then you get 4 icons.
Yeah.
So it's like that alone is not like terrible, but also like, why did I need 4 cards or like 2 cards to accomplish 4 icons when I should have just take the initiative and gotten 3? That would have been plenty.
Although with Take the Initiative, you could get 6. We've talked about how Yithians work. We know that about doubling skill icons.
Oh, it's great for Yithian.
Yeah, wonderful for a Yithian. I actually don't even know. I think the thing that I do like about this is it gets around a lot of those max 1 committed per test. So like with Unexpected Courage, Guts, Manual Dexterity, things like that, normally you can't commit, like if you commit a Manual Dexterity to someone's evade test, now they can't commit a Manual Dexterity to their evade test. This you still can, and it's basically another Manual Dexterity, another Unexpected Courage, another Calculated Risk. So you can commit 2 calculated risks to a skill test if you have a Helping Hand as well.
Yeah, that's true. And it also is each other card committed to the test. So the more you put in, the more you get out of it.
Yeah.
And it gains everything too. It's not just exclusive to just skills. So I feel like from a design perspective, they did everything they could to make the card function. But
how often do you need to spike like plus 10 though?
Yeah, it seems to accelerate so quickly. And then it is like, why am I myself so much? What test is this that I really need? It's such a huge stat buff to get through it.
Maybe like an all-in skids deck or something like that, because then you get 5 cards.
Yeah, maybe skids. Yeah. I also think the art is kind of weird. It looks like it's a photograph. They kind of, I don't know. Does it look like a photograph to you?
It looks like I don't know. It looks like I have no idea. I haven't looked at this art until just
like the other two look like that's clearly art.
This is I'm realizing we just otherwise. For this pack we just made Shadowed Face. This is the Guardian Shadowed Face pack.
Yeah, I didn't think of that because we mostly did it not so much by looking at the cards, but like the text effect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Shadowed Face.
Okay. Well, let's move on and let's go check out the Seeker cards. Is it going to do it, or do I have to click over here because I paused? I did. Yeah, okay. All right, Seeker cards. We have Empirical Hypothesis for the customizable we're looking at here, and then Bizarre Diagnosis and Analysis, this is the cis bits of yellow cards. So that's what's going on here. Hypothesis, Diagnosis, Analysis. There we go. Did we do this intentionally? Are we like punking ourselves from the past?
I don't know. I don't remember doing that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay, so Empirical Hypothesis is an evidence-gathering talent science card that basically if you succeed a test by 3 or more or fail by 2 or more after deciding which of those you want to do, you get evidence and then you can spend it to draw cards, and then a bunch of other things happen later when you level it up. It's a pretty good card. I think at base, like you can just say like, okay, I'm gonna choose succeed by 3 or more, and then draw cards, draw a free card every turn. It's pretty good.
Yeah, seems pretty good. I think the fact that I have to choose a criteria really bothers me. I wish I would have just like picked a criteria so I didn't have to like
Oh, I'm
do the
so
mental
no,
command.
I agree, but I think I'm really glad that it's pick a criteria because it makes me feel like I have to focus a little bit more on what I'm doing deck building wise, so I don't have to think like every turn am I going to fail this by 2 or succeed this by 3.
Oh,
It's like more like is this
yeah.
deck built to succeed by 3 or is it built to fail some tests?
Hmm.
Because it's at the beginning of the round before you even draw your Mythos card, so you can't decide it. It's not like Recall the Future where every test you're like, am I going to do this or
Hmm.
this? It's like, how's this deck going to
So
work?
pick one, make your deck do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I think
that makes sense.
that's the thing. And then like you can add more outlooks, right? So you can add like the round out of cards, which is what I'm choosing for my Kate deck when I play my Kate deck eventually, because
Hmm.
I have Quantum Paradox as my weakness, and it wants me to discard cards. So yeah,
Okay,
but no, I think it's a fun card.
gotcha.
I have played with it a little bit before. It's the Kate deck I'm gonna play, and it's good. It gets you cards. It works
Hmm.
in like anyone who can take it. Is I think the only thing that I'm not super excited about with it is like it's kind of just free if you can take it, because you can usually either succeed by 3 or fail by 2, and you usually want to draw cards. So
Oh, so you don't even need to upgrade it. This one's just genuinely good by itself, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
it's a little bit. It's like it's at like
There's no limit too. Like you could just let's say you accumulate three evidence, just spend three in one move and draw three cards.
yep. It doesn't exhaust. It exhausts to add the evidence to it, but it doesn't exhaust to spend the evidence.
Okay.
So you can only do it once per turn. But I think there's like a. Is there a way to? No.
After you exhaust it, you may resolve its forced effect, choosing a criteria you have not chosen this
That's
round
right.
and ready it.
That's the way
That's
to ready
the
it. Yeah.
alternative. Yeah, so you can upgrade that for 5 XP, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems yeah.
It's kind of good.
Yeah, it seems good. It seems pretty strong. I think it's maybe too strong for considering that like the customizables like they need to be under the curve when they're level 0 because of how they develop.
Yeah.
And I don't think this one's under the curve. I think
I
it's
will say like the upgrades to this aren't very good. Like alternative hypothesis is fine, but I don't know. They're just not. They're not so great. Um, I think
give
they're
me a
okay.
3 cost reduction for 2 evidence though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but you need 2 evidence. You need to. That's 2 turns that you need to be gathering evidence to do that.
That's fair. I
It's
guess I would probably get the bottom 2 so that I could trigger it more often than I would get enough to get extra clues. So I'm
yeah,
periodically just picking up clues. That's
yeah.
probably what I would
I
do,
think the
honestly.
thing, yeah, if you want to go crazy bonkers with this, you kind of need alternative hypothesis, and that's why the other ones are all so cheap. It's because
Hmm.
it's just kind of like, all right, it's very easy to trigger field research, so maybe that's just what I do. But then you're spending a lot of time moving around, just gathering evidence. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's. I think the thing
Uh,
that's different about this one is it is exciting at level 0 and not as exciting when you level it up. Um,
yeah, that's interesting.
so
It's kind of backwards.
yeah, um, yeah. I don't
Okay.
know if I can make anything speaking of backwards or anything like that, so I'm not going to
No,
segue. Let's
I
just
got
talk
nothing
about
much to say on that one.
Bizarre Diagnosis. 0 cost, 2 commits for 2 books, so you know I'm going to like it. Um,
Yeah.
and it has a drop a clue on your location to heal 3 damage from an investigator or ally asset at your location. I love this card.
Yeah, I think it's a cool card. I like it.
Yeah, it's just nice. Um, it does the clue drop thing, which I
Hmm.
kind of like in Seekers a little bit, and
I think it's a fun style, yeah.
I like being able to heal as a Seeker. I think that's something that class really I really like the way they're kind of developing that more, and I like this card doing it right. Like it costs 0,
Hmm.
there's no test. You just have to get the
Yeah.
clue back at some point. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, this is a fun card.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then analysis is in a similar type of sphere where it's a skill, and then you can cancel a chaos token, return it to the chaos bag, and reveal a new one by dropping a clue in your location. So it gives you +1. then you have the option to drop a clue if you don't like the token and do reshuffle. I'd imagine you would weigh it in such that if you drop a clue, like you would only drop one clue. And this is only like if I draw the -5, I'm redrawing that. Or if I get the auto fail, I'm redrawing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is an auto fail cancel. So I don't think you can put really a price on that. But I think for me, it's a little narrow. Like I would only take it specifically to cancel the auto fail, and then I would just wait around for that crucial test. So it'd sit in my hand for probably a really long time until that came up.
Okay. I kind of disagree, but I kind of also agree.
Okay.
It does end up sitting in my hand, but I feel like it has the same thing like with Lucky, where I'm like, ooh, I could take a little riskier of a test, right? Like I could commit this to a test, and then I could be a little riskier because I know I could just redraw it if I need to. I'm sitting on 4 clues because I'm the seeker or the clover or whatever. I'll commit this to your vicious blow test, and then like you're only 2 up, but we can probably make 2 up with 4 clues putting down.
Oh yeah.
Like,
so I mean, have you played with this and you dropped more than one clue?
no, most of the time I use this card thinking like, okay, well I'm up 2, maybe 3 now, and then I draw a -1, and it's like cool. But it let me take a riskier test. That's, I guess, more what I'm saying.
I see. Yeah. If it's just gonna put you 1 up, maybe it's like I'm okay with dropping 1 clue.
Yeah.
And so you put this in, then turns out you don't need to drop the clue and you pass. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, that kind of makes me come around on it a little bit. I'm more interested to try it, I think, as a result.
And I think when I took it, I did think like, okay, I'm gonna use this like Defiance. I'm gonna cancel 1 really bad token. But instead, I found myself just being like, I could just toss it at any test and maybe help me pass. And like if I run out of clues, that kind of sucks, and then we still fail. But that would be kind of bad. But that doesn't happen. Like that's statistically not likely to happen, even if you're just going 2 up with it.
Yeah, because if I'm at a shroud value that's really high, or it's like really difficult to get the clues on my location, I probably just wouldn't commit this. I would just wait for a situation that's a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah.
Than likely, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, you can, though. Like, that's, I think, the cool thing about it.
Yeah,
you can just like,
yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to try again. I don't think I'd use it on an investigate at a high shroud location, because then you put a clue down on a high shroud location to get a clue. That's a little bad, but I don't know. I used it a lot, committing it to my fighters tests, because I was just like, hey, you're going to punch that thing? Here, just, punch better. Hey, this is a critical parlay. Hey, just, make sure you don't mess up.
Yeah, it seems like it's good tech for crucial tests. Like, no, you must pass this, or you're going to lose a scenario.
And that's
under that, yeah,
I agree with that completely. And that's kind of why I weirdly found myself committing it not to my tests, because when I'm a clover, I'm just like, I investigate. I don't have a lot of crucial tests, and I don't really want to drop a clue to get a clue. But when someone else was doing something that was pretty high stakes or would kill them, I'd be like, here, just, do this, and then you're safe. And it's like, going 2 up with this really feels really safe.
Yeah, it does. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, nice card.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. Next, we got Mystic cards. We have Summon Servitor as our customizable, and then Hollowed Chalice and Explosive Warlord. Summon Servitor. Thoughts?
It's I like Living Ink. I don't like the other 2 Mystic cards, and this is why Living Ink was in the deluxe box, because it was like just a card that's decipherable, and this one is just like, what the crap, because it's like an ally who moves around the board, right? And then he does things for you. He can like fight and get clues and evade, and it's just like, I don't know.
I want to correct you for one thing. This is not an ally.
Okay.
This takes up an ally slot, but it is not an ally. It is a summon.
It's not an ally.
You cannot do calling.
So while he's that's fair. So when he's in play and moving around the board, those 2 slots are taken up, aren't they? Yeah, I don't. This is probably pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
oh man,
I think it's a really fun card.
Of text.
It's a rules headache. It reminds me of like when you're first getting into D&D, they're like, just play a fighter, or just play like someone who
Hmm.
hits things with a sword, because that's a very easy thing to grok. And then you look at sorcerers and wizards for the first time, and you're like, what the hell are spell slots? um,
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that. Yeah.
it's very like esoteric and very like arcane in a very fascinating way to me. But yeah, I totally get that. Um, that kind of
I
initial
think
resistance to it.
I think for me, the puzzling thing about Summon Servitor and Power Word is I don't understand why they chose to make two cards that were already complicated just in base form to make them customizable. It's like, wouldn't you do that to a card that can like handle that kind of pressure? Like the Runic Axe. It's like, all right, Runic Axe has it's basically just a weapon you fight with.
Mm-hmm.
So adding customizable to that is really easy because it doesn't already do something that's messing with a ton of mechanics in the game. But this is like, okay, wow, this is crazy. Like if there was just regular summon servitor and it just had some health and sanity values and it had like a basic action you could do, and then like when you played it into a location and then it could move for one action and then a separate action to do something else. Like if that was the case, I mean, I guess that's why it's customizable. Is they're like, well, that's way too much text on one card,
Yeah.
so it has to be customizable. But I'm like, if it's too much text, it's too much text. That therein lies the problem. Like the concept of it is too much. But I guess like I don't know. I feel like Summon Servitor and Power Word are going to be polarizing cards, and I'm willing to try them, put forth the effort to like learn what they're trying to get me to do, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they are fun. But I also just I'm more attracted to something like Living Ink. It's like Living Ink. Okay, I understand what this card does. It's a stat booster. There you go. And then I can customize it to be a stat booster in specific ways for specific investigators. That's interesting. This is like I have to customize. Otherwise, like this card is just not going to be something that the game would allow in ordinary circumstances.
So I like it because of that last reason. I like that you have to actually
Okay.
put effort into this and like learn these weird ways. Because if you play it right now, all it does is discard an asset you control, which can be good in Mystic because Doom, and then move around, and that's it, and take up some
Yeah.
slots. But no, I mean, like, I actually really like that you can start to do some strange stuff with it. I really like it kind of in off class mystics as well, as just like a way to keep doing the thing you're doing. Um, like having Sister Mary be able to just have a fighty friend that goes off and fights enemies for her during her turn, but isn't really worried about like, so she doesn't have to worry about like her flex over there that ran
Hmm.
out of bullets. It's just like, yeah, you go with my
Yeah.
servitor, and then my servitor can maybe help you fight a thing or evade a thing, um,
Hmm.
or soak some health for you. I like it for that, but it is like a rules nightmare, I think, and I
Hmm.
imagine like playing this with a new player and being like, all right, so here are the things you can do with this card, and then just watching their eyes glaze over as I explain how my summon
Yeah.
servitor works.
Right. Yeah, I think if it was me, I probably would have just made this ally. You just put him in play, and when you do, you shuffle like, I don't know, three or four bonded cards of like a particular spell that he can do into your deck, one into your hand and then the other into your deck. And
Hmm.
then you can move him around and then you can play that spell to activate him. So his text remains the same, but then you get this other card to show up and it's like, oh, like this one, and maybe like each of them comes with like two abilities. Maybe it's all three, I don't know, but like you could fight or investigate or fight and evade or something like that. And then it's like, okay, I've got my servitor running around. Now I'm just drawing cards and, you know, playing this other stuff to like activate him right here and now. To me, that would be a more like elegant way to convey this concept.
Hmm.
Having everything locked to this separate text that you like predetermine in advance is not like terrible, but it's just kind of yeah. I mean, I hear you. There's like pros and cons to both. Like the idea that you have to work for it is not a bad thing. I just don't know how much I want to for because I guess it makes it hard for me to tell like immediately what I can do with this that would be cool. I think getting if I'm doing like a fighter like Sister Mary, like you're saying, and I send them out to go help me fight in other locations in four player, that could be really cool. And as long as I've kind of figured out what I'm doing with this, I should be fine.
Boxing Glove Sister
But
Mary summon servitor because it gets the punch It gets the plus punch for its jaws that snatch, or its claws that catch. There we go. There we go. That's my new deck. That's my next deck.
Okay, sure.
And it can also take Hollowed Chalice and Explosive Ward. Let's get to those now so we can fill out this deck some more.
Yeah.
So Hollowed Chalice is the next Doom Charm, the final Doom Charm, the actual black sheep of the family, because it doesn't even have an upgraded version later. But it lets you exhaust it and place a Doom on it to heal 2 damage or 2 horror from an investigator, or just heal 1 or 1. And if it's the last damage or horror healed, remove that Doom. I like this for dealing with trauma. I think this is a weirdly like supporting trauma play. Yeah. Because, yeah. You can just kind of keep people topped up. It's kind of nice. It's a nice support card. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it. It's more flexible than Healing Word and the one about Healing Horror.
Yeah, I think it's better than Clarity of Mind or Healing Words. Because it can heal either one for starters. And then also, it doesn't rely on charges. You take Doom, but you can get rid of that Doom if you heal enough to where there's nothing left, which is not impossible to do. Or you could take a Moonlight Ritual if you're doing a Doom deck. I think it's a little dangerous if you're not doing Doom clearing tech, but I think that's appropriately costed for that. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's good. I think it's very action intensive is my only.
I agree with that. I will say, like, one of the things with Doom on hand slots is that it's very easy to play another hand slot over a card with Doom on it. That is something I learned from playing Amina like 6 times in a row when she first came out.
Okay.
Is like you don't need actually a lot of Doom clearing if it's an asset that you can just discard by playing a card over it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you did that, then maybe that's. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
This is probably pretty good then.
Yeah, it's a good card, I think. Especially if like you take it as a one-off just to heal some Doom or heal some horror and damage for some Doom and then just get rid of it, like with a sacrifice or playing a card over it.
Yeah.
And then the last card we have here is Explosive Ward.
Yeah, I like Explosive Ward. I think it's great.
I like this card.
I mean, well, it's not great, but I mean, it's good. Like, I played it in a Daisy deck.
I don't like that it's non-elite enemies engaged with you.
Yeah.
I get it.
What is with all the non-elite thing?
Stop that. It's like they're trying to make the game balanced around not being able to kill just big guys with dumb automatic effects. But I just want to be able to Explosive Ward some folks. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's damage. Okay, like some enemies that are non-elite have really nasty effects on them. Like if you fail to attack them or something or whatever. So I don't feel like it should really matter. The only time it should say non-elite is if it's of an effect that straight up discards the enemy. Then you need to say non-elite so that you can't just get rid of them from the table. They need to be dealt with in the conventional way.
I don't know if I would go that far.
If it's to move them.
I don't know if I would go quite that far. I think, like, I see the reason for the cap on this for non-elite, and that it's not a great reason, but it is, like, you can get up to 5 arcane slots, and, like, you can discard any number of arcane slots when you play this. And it's going to cost 5, but 5 automatic damage to an elite enemy is... it kind of ruins the designer's day. You know, no matter where they are, if someone does 5 automatic damage to an elite enemy, the designer gets sad. They don't know why.
I don't think I would be bothered by that. Like, that's crazy. Like, the amount of work you'd have to do to build up your arcane slots to have 5 of them. That's an astronomical amount of labor. And then you need 5 resources.
It's actually not that hard to do it. If you take, to build, it takes some XP, sure, right? Like,
yeah.
Does it? No, it doesn't take. It doesn't take any XP. 2 sign magics and a familiar spirit.
But like, what are you doing? You playing sign magic and familiar spirit. You're not
doing anything to help anyone.
That's what I'm saying. You've earned it. Like, you've invested everything to do this one thing. Just fine. Deal your 5 damage, which isn't even gonna kill any boss.
Never
Like,
mind.
what boss is exactly 5 damage? Like, they all have like minimum of 6 or more, unless you're playing solo. And like solo could use the help. I don't know. I think that's stupid. I think you should just play the damn card. Like, whatever. I appreciate that it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity, and I did play it. I played it with a Daisy deck. You were there with me. We did our special campaign, and in that deck, it was great to just like have something that I could just explode some enemies. I don't need to take a test. I could just spend some resources. I didn't have any arcane slots filled specifically for this reason, and so I just played a few spell events, and this was one of that package. So I like it as an off-class support, especially in
Yeah.
Seeker, to defend yourself, to just like get off me because I can't do the test.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think like I mean I still like the card. I'm still gonna play it. I do think that
No, it sucks
the
that
cost is yeah.
the non-elite clause sucks. I see why it's there, but it does. I'm not happy with it. I guess I should say. I should re-specify. I'm not happy that it's there, but I do see why it's there. I guess.
I don't see why it's there. Like whatever. Like if you do five resources, I mean this isn't 5 resources. This is 6 for the 2 sign magics, and then 1 for the familiar spirit, which is also taking up your ally slot. And everybody likes to shit on familiar spirit like it's the worst ally ever. I don't think it's a terrible ally.
I think it's a great
But
ally.
everybody else does. So whatever. Like so, you spend the 7 there plus 5 more. So now it's 12 resources later to do 5 damage, and you have no spells equipped. You have an ally that can't do anything but soak a little bit of damage, and I mean a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a terrible deck. Oh my goodness, you broke Arkham Horror, the card game, with your 5 damage hit that didn't even kill the boss.
I will say again, this is a level
Wow.
0 event. It shouldn't. Like it should. Like you shouldn't be able to. I don't know. It's a level 0 event. I don't think. I think it should be still a little bit restrictive. Again, I don't like it. I don't like you're putting me in this position where I have to defend the non-elite clause. But I do see why it's
Just
there.
that.
It's there for a reason, but I still don't like
No,
it.
it isn't. It's there to ruin fun. That's what it's there for.
Yes, there it is. So you spend experience on cards that are more fun. There you go. I'm tired of this
I don't know.
Moving on.
Whatever. If I
control the
like, nice.
slideshow.
All right, let's talk about Grizzled, the Survivor customizable card for this one.
Yeah.
This is a skill, the only skill customizable card.
Yeah.
And you get to pick 2 traits that it has, and if it's skill test against an encounter card, including fighting, evading, or parlaying, Grizzle gains 2 wild icons for each of the chosen traits the encounter card possesses. And then you can upgrade to give it more traits, or you can upgrade it to have it like be committed from your discard pile, I think, and some stuff like that. Yeah, it can come up to your discard pile when you draw a copy of the, or when you draw an encounter card with the chosen trait.
I like this card at level 0 too. I think, just being able to be a 3 wild thing for certain enemies or certain treacheries is cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is a rad card. I think the weird thing about it is that it is, I don't know, like sometimes I feel like it's not really Survivor because it is the most prepared of all prepared cards. Like, you pick this card because you know what traits you have to deal with, and you tech specifically for those traits.
Mm-hmm.
So, that doesn't sound like a Survivor thing to me, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what other class I would put it in, I guess. So,
I would like it
I think
if
it's
it was,
strong. I think it's really cool.
I think it would need to be more powerful for this, but I would like it if it was like, as an additional cost to add this card to your deck, take a trauma or something like that. And maybe it comes in with 1 little box checked or something to counteract that a little.
That would make sense, because then it would be like, ugh, I've been around and I've gotten hit by that before, and now I'm kind of grizzled and I understand how to deal with it next time. Next time I'm going to completely destroy that thing.
Yeah. So it's like customizable.
Yeah.
When you purchase Grizzled, choose and record 2 traits on its upgrade sheet and take 1 trauma of your choice or something like that. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Also, this can get up to 5
Yeah,
if the enemy or treachery has both of the things you included on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then it's a silver bullet to
I like that.
that thing. I think that's pretty strong. It basically means you have to go through the entire campaign and like check all the traits on the cards and figure out what thing you really need to target, I think.
Or
And I
you
guess you
can
don't
just
have to
say
do that. Like,
monster or humanoid, right?
yeah, you could just say but that means you're limiting it to fighting tech as opposed to like
That's true. That's
treacheries,
true.
right?
Okay,
So like if
hazard
I want this,
or terror.
yeah, maybe I'm Will York and I can deal with enemies, or I'm Tommy and it's like whatever, I don't care what the enemies, but I want this to deal with some kind of treachery. And so then I go and I check like, oh, I don't want a Crypt Chill to hit me out of nowhere, or I don't want, rotting. I'm rolling. Well, I can't take this from rolling, but like I'm Tommy. I don't want to get hit by like rotting remains, and so I check to see what the trade is on rotting remains, and then I check to see if there are other cards that have similar ones, or maybe I just find another card that's probably pretty common and I throw it on there. I think it works, but I think it's like this. What I'm saying is not a bad thing. It's just interesting how much is done prior to it actually just being played at the table.
This card should have been called Making Preparations.
I agree. This should be Making Preparations because of how much legwork you're doing, and then like even the art, I would swap too. Making preparations and just be like, yes, I am gonna like prepare for these traits, and when they show up, I will deal with that problem. And then the other one could be Grizzled,
Yeah.
where
I don't
you
know.
just like your stats go all wonky because I don't know, you're too enraged over something, and so that makes you either very like sane to deal with the problem, or makes you very aggressive, or makes you very fight or flight or something.
Yeah. No, I
You
like
can justify it however you want.
I like it. I'm just gonna. I think for myself now that I know how to make custom cards, I'm just gonna make my own.
Well, make me a copy as well, will you?
We'll do. Yeah.
From now on, if we're ever playing on Tabletop Simulator, it's going to be reverse of those two.
It's just reverse those two. Perfect. We got him. All right. Idol of Xanatos. Here's a card that lets you discard cards to cancel damage or horror. Takes up an accessory slot.
And it's terrible.
I think it's not bad. I think it's not bad in investigators who have really unbalanced health and sanity pools. So like Rita or I think that might be it.
Okay, so in Rita, actually doesn't Will York? He only has like
he's got 6 and 8, I think.
6.
So he might be okay to cancel horror for that. And like the problem, he doesn't really have a problem. Honestly, yeah, I might take this in Yorick because he probably won't discard this. He could discard his second copy, but like discarding cards out of his hand, he can just play them from his discard pile anyways. Right. And sometimes that might actually be proactive for him to get like because he gets a cost reduction right when he plays it from his discard pile. No, it's just it just becomes fast, right? So he doesn't have to take an action to play it. Okay. Yeah. So it still might be proactive for him. I can see that being the case. So yeah, I think this would be a cool card in Yorick, and I played it in Rita, and it was fine. It helped me not die to Crypt Chill, or not Crypt Chill, Rotting Remains.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like this one. I feel like just play Cherished Keepsake for 0 and you get 2 Sanity Soak. And if you really need damage soak, then just play Leather Coat.
So what this does is it lets you take 2 deck slots instead of 4 for Cherished Keepsake and Leather Coat.
Yeah, 3 resources later and discarding cards.
But if you don't need a lot of resources in Survivor, that's why Dark Horse exists. One thing that I'll say, like when I play a Dark Horse deck, and I just played a Dark Horse deck, so I can talk about this with authority, is I sometimes put too few cost in my deck, and I'm stuck trying to pay more resources to get down to 0 resources.
I've never had that problem.
You will. I curse you with it now.
I am cursed. I feel like Dark Horse costs you 3 already. If I'll say this, if Dark Horse there was an upgraded version that was permanent, which I feel like there should be at some point. If that ever became a thing, I would consider this more closely, because then I don't have to pay the 3 resources for Dark Horse, which is what. Like, it's a steep cost because you're like, oh, well, let me just get my other equipment thing on the table really quick. And you just can't do it. And so asking for a big 3 coster like this, like, it's balanced and it's fine. I'm just like, I don't know, what kind of crazy deck is this where, like, the one you described with York, I could kind of see that, sure. I mean, it has a use. I just feel like if I was Patrice, why would I ever take this? I want the Moonstone. That's a way better accessory slot
In
for her
Patrice, yeah.
because it boosts her. Yeah, because like it's just better in every sense of the word. Like there's
Patrice,
no
yes.
reason to take it. Yeah.
Not all survivors are Patrice and Wendy though, so
Yeah, I just if I need to discard cards, just take that one where you're back against the wall. What is it? The abusive card that Patrice likes. The one where you discard to get plus two. I forget the name.
Yeah, no,
Corner,
I don't remember that card.
Yeah.
Obviously, as we've already discovered, I don't remember Cornered. So,
yeah, Cornered should just take that. I don't know why you take this.
Because you could do both and just play no hand, and that's fun. You could be like, look, no hands.
That is interesting. Would I ever play a no hand? I'll try a no hand deck. That sounds interesting.
They're fun. They're actually really fun. Yeah.
All right. In a no hand deck.
We should. Never mind. All right. Let's move on to Shadow Light. So Shadow Light is a 2-cost event that lets you get extra clues, like a ton of extra clues, if you can reduce the skill value to 0 or the difficulty value of a test to 0. Investigation.
Yeah. Which all you need to do that is a flashlight.
Yep. It's a good card, and it's been tabooed to be more expensive XP-wise, and that's why it's in the second pack instead of the first pack to exploit weaknesses.
Yep.
It's kind of gross.
It is disgustingly strong. I don't know where the hell... Like, when you put exploit weakness next to this, I'm like... I guess their logic was, well, I can just defeat any enemy with the exploit weakness, but you can't. It's a non-elite enemy. So like over here, it's like, well, you can get any clue.
We should make
it's not like
it should be non-elite locations, you know, on this one.
Non-elite clues.
Yeah, non-elite clues. Oh man,
that would be an interesting mechanic.
I like that actually.
Elite clues,
or like locations that cannot like a keyword that's like haunted, but instead it's like you can't discover clues except by investigating.
Yeah. It just kind of like forces you to be like, no, you're gonna have to do this the conventional way.
Yeah.
There's always the thing is there's always so many clues. I think that's how they kind of balance it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of clues to discover every game.
Yeah.
Whereas there may be a lot of damage, but there might not be, just depending on like, I mean, you could do pacifist runs where you just avoid all the enemies. So, you know, that does exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think Shadow Light is way too strong. And when they do that thing where they're like with Dowsing Rod, they make it resource more because they're like, oh, this is like way too much. You got to move and a clue in one turn. This should cost at minimum 3, if not 4. I feel like you're getting 3 clues out of the deal, and all you needed was a freaking flashlight. Like, dang.
I mean, if you're a new player, like right out the box, here's a great combo you can see. I guess that's the redeeming thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it makes me wish there was
a little too strong.
There was like a knife that reduced the difficulty for exploit weakness to fight a guy, like a just I don't know.
Upgraded knife. Upgraded knife.
Flash knife. That doesn't sound right. That sounds wrong. All right.
I mean, even upgraded knife should be a thing. That would be very cool.
We got upgraded flashlight. It might be coming. Who knows?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm fine. That said, I don't care if either of us use it because we're having a hard enough time in the progression challenge. So, like, whatever. If we get an extra clue, I don't care.
I'm not going to use this card. I've used it before. I've felt the power and been a little, and then like felt a little dirty afterwards. This isn't Wither. I don't have to work to make this work.
This isn't Wither. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Next, we have rogue cards, and that is Friends in Low Places, Hidden Pocket, and I'll take that. This is a fun little combination of cards that have traits that are illicit, except I just realized Friends in Low Places does not have illicit on it.
Gotcha. It's only a favor to start with.
Yep. It lets you find illicit cards, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
If you choose that. That's why I thought it had illicit. There we go.
Yeah, you could choose make the chosen trait illicit, which would be a great pick for most investigators. And then, yeah, you search your deck and you can spend resources to draw those.
So,
excuse me, you can draw up to 6 cards. I mean, it's 6 resources, but potentially that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I played this, and this is one of I know I talked a lot about the Marie and Preston decks in these reviews, I guess, because they were using Scarlet Keys as like their only other thing, and I played this in Preston and used named Dilemma, and that was kind of fun. It's a fun way to draw dilemmas when you want to.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
I actually really liked that. I liked that synergy. I had a lot of fun being like, oh, I can, if I look really deep right now, I can find that one that gets me a clue for free at this high shroud location, or that makes enemies walk away. But then more often than not, the dilemmas would hit me when I didn't want them to, and it didn't really work because of the dilemmas. But Friends in Low Places did its job.
Is it possible? I guess it's not. Is it possible to give it a trait um like innate? Oh no, because it wouldn't be on friends and low paces, it would be on the cards that are innate.
Yeah.
But I guess you could, like, if you were a rogue and you had Silas on your team, you could choose innate and then you could play this on Silas with the helpful
Yep.
grade, and then he could tutor up a bunch of innate cards. So that could make for honestly find that aspect of the card very intriguing. Is like I will build up my own thing, but then I have like a genuinely super powerful card to help the rest of
You
my
could
team
be
and be
the
like,
friend in low places.
you could be the friend in low places.
I
Yeah,
like that. I like that.
yeah,
That's a really fun, like, helpful rogue deck. You're just like kind of the
yep.
skis ball that's like, I can find you your skills.
Yeah, because you can even take prompt, which makes it fast, and you can play during any free trigger window. So someone
Yeah.
could be like, "I'm in a jam," and it's like, "I got your back,"
I'm your
and that's
friend.
cool.
Oh man, I really like that. I didn't even look at the helpful. I because it was just one cost, but that's so nice. I like that so much. It's just like I'm the friend in the low
Yeah.
place. I find you the cards. Wow.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
like
fun
that.
card. I
I
think it's
like that a
cool. I
lot.
think there's lot of potential. A lot you
Yeah.
can do with it.
Yeah, cool. All right, Hidden Pockets next, and this is a
Hmm.
fast card you attach to a clothing or armor asset, and you get an additional hand slot or hand or accessory slot to hold an illicit asset.
Yeah. I like thematically what this card is doing. I think um I don't know. This is not really the fault of the designers, but or at least I don't know, the whole idea of like gaining extra arcane slots or ally slots or these kinds of things. I wish there was some kind of icon that they put on the card. So like in this case, it would just be like a hand
On
icon
the other
or an
side,
accessory slot
right?
and then a
Yeah,
slash. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So that way I could just immediately see, oh, that's giving me a bonus slot of this kind or whatever. Heck, you could put it on opposite ends. That way you could just slide the card underneath one end and then you could see clearly like which extra slot you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like anything that gives you more slots and I can't see them is really difficult. The only reason why Charisma and Relic Hunter work is they are the slot. Like you
Yeah,
can see it right there and you just drop your extra ally on top of them.
yeah.
And so it's not that hard to keep track of. But everything else, when it's just like attachment or whatever, it's really tricky. I think the effect is cool, but I think remembering the extra slot you get is going to be a bit of a hurdle for a bit.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, I usually would. What I've been doing with this is like I've just been tucking like the side of it under the clothing. So I had like my heavy. I was playing a Winifred deck, and I had my heavy furs in my hidden pocket, and I just tucked
Okay.
the side like it's kind of tapped. I'm gonna illustrate this
Okay.
for you, and then like I'd have the upgrade, the text part facing out, and then I just put my card that was whatever was in the hidden pocket on that half of the card.
Okay.
I got all sorts
Okay.
of
Yeah.
tips.
Maybe there's like a way to play it. Yeah.
Yeah. It worked. I think it worked fine. I don't think I've ever, when I played with this, I've never been like, am I out of slots or do I still have one? Because like you can only really hold two hidden pockets. I don't know. I think it's getting a little bit crazier. Like you could take a bandolier and two hidden pockets because I think that's an armor. I think it's an armor. I hope it's an armor. I might be eating my words
Hmm.
in a little
Yeah.
bit, but and then you have like a level 2 bandolier, so you can hold two additional weapons and two additional illicit assets that are attached to it, and you make this weird Giga Bandolier that's kind of cool, actually. I'm kind of into that idea.
Yeah. I mean,
Batman
Bandolier
telling,
already gives you extra hand slots, so yeah.
or Batman skids, I guess. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it expands your slots, so it obviously is a combo card. We need to see what the other thing is that you're equipping that you needed the extra slot for. I mean, I
Yep.
guess it's a cheap way to get an extra accessory as opposed to the Relic
Yeah.
Hunter. I think that's kind of tempting.
Yeah. And it does really combo well with the next card, which is I'll take that, because I'll take
Hmm.
that gives an item that you play using it illicit. Um,
It does.
I really like this card. I just played this combination in that Winterford deck I was talking about, and I think the thing that really slows down a lot of like the hey you have more slots or whatever is like you have to play a card and then play them, but when you use I'll take that, you just are doing the thing you're supposed to
Yeah.
do, and then you get a free play action at usually a discount, and it's kind of nice. And hidden pockets
Hmm.
fast, and maybe you already have heavy furs out, so yeah,
Yeah.
it works really well.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a pretty good card. It's just a lot of comboing, so I have to.
Which
I
yeah,
was gonna mess with these, but then I needed to build a deck, and they weren't in the
they were in
first
the
pack,
core.
so I was
Yeah,
like, okay, I guess I gotta wait.
yeah. I don't remember what the decision with that was, but I think we said like, okay, these are going to be the this is going to be the pack where you're like, all right, we wanted to keep these two together, and we needed to pad out the core box with a bunch of extras, or the deluxe box with a bunch of
Hmm.
different cards already. So
Deluxe box was more about essentials for the most part,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then some kind of interesting surprises of what's to come.
yep. So yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I think we only have one card left, and that's Tool Belt. My partner loves this card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she plays it a lot. Um, I am less hot on it, but it's
Why does she like it?
I don't know. She likes playing like the big, have a bunch of different slots. She's a very like asset heavy investigator typically.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. She really likes this one, and she likes tools a
Hmm.
lot too. So,
Gotcha.
and I've seen her use it really well. Like she's played with like the sledgehammer and the chainsaw on this, and then just being like, all right, I'll swap these out, and I'll put an old keyring down for a second, and just get some clues, and it's gone, and now I have a sledgehammer again. And it's like, whoa, that was cool. How'd you do that? That was kind of
hmm.
interesting. Like you suddenly just grabbed two clues for a turn, and then the monster showed up the next turn, and you were like, yeah, I got my sledgehammer still. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it saves you from the discard. It's probably, yeah, I guess it's pretty good. That seems like a really cool play. I have a hard time thinking of what cards I would swap in and out with this.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah, I think for weapons,
yeah.
like swapping out a weapon and a clue gathering tool is kind of like the
Hmm.
good for it. I think like swapping out different weapons, you kind of are like, well, what's the point? Or swapping out different clue gathering tools, you're a little bit like, it's not really necessary. I think it really shines when you have
Hmm.
a big two-handed thing and then a couple little like one-handed things that you're just like, I kind of want to use these
Yeah.
sometimes, but I don't need them most of the
Hmm.
time. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I should try it at some point.
it's kind of fun. I mean, she likes it. I don't really like it, but it seems kind of. She seems to really enjoy it. So I guess moving your things
Why do you
around is
not like it?
I don't really. I don't know. I'm not a big. I know I've been playing very acid heavy decks. Have I been? I don't think I have been playing very acid heavy decks. I don't really
You
like.
haven't lately, but you typically like it, I thought.
I don't really like. No, I'm more of an events. I like events and skills a lot more than assets. I don't like consistency. I like randomness and craziness bouncing off things. So
That seems like a change. I remember earlier, it was a while ago though, and you were like, "Oh yeah, assets are great," and I was like, "No assets, don't like assets."
I mean like
um,
I think they're I think like some are necessary, but I think like
yeah,
I'm very much of like I was like I remember I got Bandolier and Dunwich and I was like I don't need more hand slots. My hands are full. I don't need to have more.
okay, yeah,
Like
yeah,
if I can't punch something good with two hands, then I'm not gonna be able to punch something
hmm,
good. Like my thought process was I'm not gonna be able to punch something good with four hands.
yeah,
And then like
yeah. I just don't like too many assets. It slows me down. As long as I have good momentum, though, then I don't mind how many assets it takes.
yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's just a playstyle thing. I think this card is still pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just not something that really appeals to me. That's why I opened with my partner really likes
it. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Well, that's it.
I think that covers the pack.
Yeah. So we will be back next week with some more Scarlet Keys, and then next week, I don't know. Wait, no. We might not hit the. These might not be every Thursday, right? We're recording these in advance, so.
Yeah, this is all happening on one day for us, but probably every Thursday. I don't know.
Or
Whatever.
something.
Next video release will be the scenario. Probably a couple scenarios actually, and then eventually you'll get the next pack.
Yep.
When we unlock it periodically. So, but we'll time it so that way it's like, you see the new cards right before we get access to them.
Yeah,
or right when rather.
But until then,
stay out of danger.
Bye.